Hi, my name is Kelly, and I play Harp. She is the changeling ranger who, sometimes thinks she's a rogue, but she definitely isn't. Is that good?
Yeah, no, that's great.
I was like, I don't know, like, should I add more to that?
No, I think that's pretty good. Um, this is the problem that I've hit with all of these is that there's not a good way to get from hi, I'm so and so into me doing like an in character piece of bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be awkward. But here we go.
All right. I trust you. It's all good.
Harp, you're used to setbacks. What was that thing Excelia always used to say? Water off a duck's back. But still, you've never considered not having those thieves' tools. You were decent with them, but maybe you were just distracted. Maybe they were just old. Sure, they're a dime a dozen, but these were sentimental. Tell me about your plan. What were you trying to unlock earlier today? What were you hoping to find inside?
So, Harp's been staying at the inn for a couple of days now, and she's been watching who's been going in and out of the place. And she spotted this guy who looks quite well dressed. He's got a white mask and he's acting on, has this little dragon with him.
Right, yeah.
So he's got to have money.
Yeah, clearly. Dragon food's expensive.
I don't know. Anyways, so she checks to see when that guy is sneaking out, trying to figure out his pattern, and she's gonna see what's in that room and see what she can find.
Okay.
So she gets into that room and she spots a chest. What she's really hoping for is something she can sell or even money itself.
Yeah.
She's not really one to steal from the poor, but this guy looks like he's well off, so
that's fair.
He won't miss anything she takes.
I think we see you knelt in front of this chest just a few minutes ago, and you're quiet. You're on high alert, but you're calm, practiced, mostly confident. But still, this lock it's testing you. You've done this 100 times. Why is this giving you so much trouble? Who even made this? How many pins are there? You apply some extra pressure with the tension wrench to hold them in place and then snap. And you remember the first time you successfully picked a lock under Excelia's supervision. How old were you?
So Harp doesn't exactly remember what age she was. She just knows it was that rebel teenage. She knows that Excelia would leave her behind and she would come back with things sometimes. The last time she saw that her bag had a lock on it and wanted to attempt to open it. And Excelia completely knew, even though Harp didn't. And she kind of just watched. She didn't help her immediately, but after watching her struggle for a bit, she finally hopped in there and might as well kind of help her, in these hard times between the two of them.
Yeah, she helped you steal from herself.
Yeah, I mean, she's curious, she,
No, it's really sweet, actually.
Yeah, well, because she doesn't know. She's just following around this Kenku, right? She doesn't know where she's going, and she keeps coming back with these things, back where they're staying, and just wants to know what she's got inside.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Was that like the first time that you got it on your first try, or?
No, she had help. Excelia had watched her struggle for a bit and knows she hasn't picked a lock in her life. She just watched her. She goes, there's nothing special in there. Might as well help this kid out.
How many tries did it take until you were actually able to do it by yourself?
Oh, Harp was at it for a while, and I think that's the sad part, is that she really thought she was nailing it each time, and it was just this sad attempt at it finally. I have to admit, she was probably mortified when she realized she wasn't as sneaky as she thought she was, but a sense of relief once she knew she wasn't in trouble or anything.
Right, yeah. I think earlier today when your tools broke, you couldn't help but remember that moment. The joy it brought you when you finally felt the pins align and the tumbler rotate open, and how proud Excelia was. And when you went to hand her back the lockpicks afterwards, she shook her head and she smiled and she pushed them back towards you gently. They were yours from that day on. And it wasn't the first time she gave you something you'd keep for years. There was a morning early on in your time together when she found you awake as she returned from a job before the sunrise, and you'd had another nightmare and it kept you awake. What was it that she gave you that morning to help with your bad dreams?
So that morning she received this nightcap, the classic one you've seen in movies as, the one with the little stripes on it. Yeah. And the little poof ball at the end.
The little the sleepy time tea bear.
Yeah, and I mean, Don't get me wrong, Harp was a little embarrassed about it at first, but didn't realize what it did till later on. It was this amazing cap that she wore, and it suppressed all the nightmares, all those like odd dreams she would have of being taken away, because she still isn't very clear about her past anyway.
Yeah.
But it kind of just suppressed nightmares.
Do you think that it was magical, or do you think that it was just nice that she gave it to you?
I think both. I think that she wears it and knows it's doing something. She doesn't understand how it works, but she sleeps great now and has all these cutesy dreams. But it's also sentimental as she goes out of her way to get this for her since she was struggling.
Yeah.
She has no idea where she got it, but I mean, hopefully it was done nicely.
I mean, there wasn't any blood on it, was there?
She didn't inspect it too much, you know?
Yeah.
She just knows it works, and as long as she doesn't see it in the daylight, you know? It's better not to know sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need the whole story. I think we see you again in the present. Now you're lying on the bed in the same room at the inn for the third evening in a row. You're going to have to move on again soon. You and Excelia found each other a lifetime ago, and she taught you a lot, but the biggest lesson you ever learned, you didn't even learn from her. Not directly, anyway. You learned at the moment she was gone. Keep moving. Don't get attached. What happened to her?
Harp still doesn't even really know what happened to her. She was just tired of getting left behind. So she took it upon herself to see what she does at night. So she followed her, and she doesn't really remember much, just these sort of like flickers of a memory. She knows Excelia was doing something, like a deal maybe. I don't know. But as she kept watching, she thinks she was caught. Maybe someone spotted her. But everything just went black, and she found herself back where she started, at least in the vicinity, and all of her items were there, along with Excelia's. But yeah, it was strange for her, obviously, and she was now all alone.
Yeah.
She kind of wishes she would have looked for her, but that probably went against everything she was taught her whole life. So she didn't. I think somewhat of that was a fear, you know?
Like, what if the truth isn't something you want to know?
Like, especially the worst idea of it would be that she did this or she caused this.
You think maybe you got in the way of a job and shit hit the fan.
Yeah, Harp definitely, I think deep down, does believe that. But because of what she was taught, she wants to pretend that she's doing the right thing and she's just moving on. And that what happened, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, despite that, though, you do think about her often. You learned years ago, though, that it's just not worth dwelling on at this point. You already paid for this night at the inn with money you got from the fence down at the pier 2 days ago. What's your plan now?
Well, let's just say that every time Harp hits a city, it's a hit and miss here and there. But in her heart, this town, she's going to get some good stuff.
All right.
Since this town is probably busy first thing in the morning, she's going to see if there's some good people she can pickpocket from. Now, she's got kind of her own rule. She's struggling. She's not going to make other people struggle. But if she just sees someone looking all fancy, all hoity-toity, although no one says that, hoity-toity. But anyways, she's definitely going to see if she can snag some coins off of them. And hey, maybe there might be a shop or two if whoever works there isn't paying attention. She might score something there.
Yeah, hey.
I mean, well, there's a little bit of concern there. You know, she, poor Harp, you know, she wasn't really meant to steal, you know?
Maybe in a different life, under different circumstances, as a shape changer, you would have been a better thief.
You would think so.
Working with some limited knowledge.
She'll make do. Let's just hope, you know, this goes better than the last town she was in.
Sounds good. Get more of Kelly and her character Harp on Vibe Proficiency, a D&D podcast about death, having a rough time actually tracking animals, and kind of wishing you'd picked Rogue, I guess. Coming soon to your favorite podcast app. Like, you know, the one you're listening to us on now, probably. Oh, hey, great choice, by the way. Until then...
Okay, here we go.
This is just...
a 5 for the people.
This is just a nightmare today. Is this rigged?
Yes.
A job is a job and a deal's a deal. I've got fog cloud. Wow, I'm so sad.
That was a nat 1 for those at home.
Alrighty. And I'm slowly backing out. Wait.
That's a 2.
Kelly's playing a ranger who canonically does not know how to track animals.
Is it nap time? You know what? That fog cloud's starting to sound real good right now. Should I just, like, disconnect now?
I take it back. I thought I was prepared for this. Okay.
Okay.